The following is a presentation of Santa Monica College.
Hello, and welcome to SMC TV. I'm your host, Alex Bell. Proper fitness and nutritional practices have become a priority for many of us, but sifting through the myths and the fads that we are exposed to can be quite tricky. So today we have invited some special guests to help us differentiate the facts from fiction. I would like to welcome our first guest, Deborah Novak. Thank you for joining us here today. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thanks for having me.
So I'd like to start off first by asking, what do you think about health trends such as detoxes, cleanses, and fasting? Is there a lot of scientific, reasoning behind them, or are these safe practices to be doing?
Actually, there's not a lot of scientific information to back up the value of a cleanse or a detox. Our body's actually designed to do that itself. We've got our liver, we have our kidneys that naturally do that for us. So there's no magic way of eating that will actually detox us, right? Our liver does that. Fiber also does that. It helps cleanse all the waste material out of our digestive system. So inherently, it's in our system.
So would you say that it's safe to do a detox once a month? Because I have a lot of friends, and like, oh, I'm doing a juice cleanse or, just a vegetable cleanse. Would you advise that, or do you do that personally?
I would say occasionally it's fine. It can't hurt as long as you're doing it for a short period of time. If you do it for an extended period of time, you really compromise your nutritional status, because whatever you're having in that cleanse does not provide the different nutrients and energy that your body needs. So if someone were going to do it, I would say do it for a couple days, and don't do it during a time when you require a lot of energy and you require a lot of thinking, because you're not going to feel very good.
Right. Your energy level is not going to be as high.
Absolutely not.
So should people use it as kind of just like a supplemental thing, not like a staple in their everyday, monthly or weekly?
Right. It's definitely not a good way to go about for weight loss. Or again, to think that you're doing anything special for your body. But some people look at it as a way to just take a break, maybe as a good starting point to
reboost their system.
Right. Well, not boost, but just reevaluate how they're approaching food. So in those types of situations, it's probably okay. There are certain populations that should probably really be conscious of it, or maybe not even go there. I mean, definitely you don't want to do this with children, because they need all the nutrients to grow properly and to perform and be in school. If you have someone who has some kind of a chronic illness, it's probably not a safe way to go. If you have someone who's pregnant, probably not safe. Yes. So now, for healthy individuals, an occasional thing.
Other than juices and cleansing, I know the big thing right now is GMOs. So can you tell us exactly what is GMO, and maybe list some of the biggest GMO products and stuff that we see in everyday food, and break it down for us? Because I hear people talk about it a lot, but I don't think that a lot of people know actually what it means.
Okay, so GMO means genetically modified organisms, which is not a very appealing way to refer to our foods. But what it means is that we're basically taking a characteristic out of one particular food or product or bacteria, and we're putting it into another food to give it that characteristic. And this is actually something that's been done in the farming industry for a long period of for years and years and years. They've been doing this. It's called selective breeding or crossbreeding, where they'll take, that's how we got a pluot, right? It's a plum and an apricot. We took two different species and crossbred them to create a pluot, right? So GMO, what we're doing is we're pre-identifying the particular gene that has the characteristic that we want for another product, and we're putting it in there. So it's really not any different from our history of breeding the ideal type of food. Right.
And it's weird because, I guess I want to know, why are we seeing so much of it now? I feel like now it's becoming a really big topic and a really big issue.
Right. It's a very controversial issue. There's a lot of emotion tied into it.
Like you said, it's been around for so long, but now it's like one of the hot buttons. And, even big companies like Chipotle and stuff are going GMO free.
Right.
And it's like, why now is this becoming an issue?
Right. Because there is so much media and social attention to it. Unfortunately, there isn't a lot of conversation about the true science behind it. So, when I talk to people about the science behind the GMO, they're just, oh my gosh, really? They're more appalled that it actually goes counterculture, right? It's counter to what we're hearing in the media. So the way I approach it now is generally GMOs are not harmful, right? The science shows us, the evidence shows us that there's not a lot of harm inherent to it. However, if you are concerned about it, there are certain foods to avoid, and that would be our processed foods. The primary GMO crops are corn, soy, and cotton. Right?
Wow.
And those
a lot of our everyday.
Right, you would think, right?
Yeah.
But the majority of that corn and that soy actually goes to either feed animals or it's imported to other countries to feed their animals.
Okay.
And the corn is used for high fructose corn syrup. And the cotton is used, the cottonseed oil from the cotton is used for processed foods. So the majority of the GMOs in our food are found in processed foods. So how do you avoid GMOs? You avoid processed foods.
Right.
Those that are made with high fructose corn syrup, cottonseed oil, and those types of products, right?
So you should choose more, I mean, if you're wanting to stay away from GMO, more organic.
Whole natural foods. If you go whole natural foods, inherently your diet's going to be low in GMOs.
Okay.
If you go organic, it's inherently free of GMOs. That is one of the definitions of organic, that there's no GMO. Now there are certain foods, there's not, outside of that, there's not a whole lot. There's one apple that was recently released that doesn't, that doesn't brown,
Okay.
right? So again, I haven't seen it, I haven't tasted it, I don't know if it's actually on the market, but it has been approved. The Hawaiian papaya. This is one of the main reasons why we use GMOs, is the Hawaiian papaya was basically, the crops were being destroyed by a particular fungus. And they said we either no longer have Hawaiian papayas or we figure out a way to protect the plant from this particular, I'm sorry, it was a virus, not a fungus, this particular virus. And that's what we have today, is the Hawaiian papaya is a GMO because it now has a characteristic that protects it from this virus, right? This papaya has been out on the market for 15 years and we haven't seen any health associations, any problems with it. So that in and of itself is some evidence. But outside of that, we don't have a lot of everyday foods that are GMO. Most of it is found in processed foods.
That's very good to know.
Yeah.
And are there any, simple basic dieting rules that people should really avoid that they think might be effective but can actually really harm them? Would you give any suggestions or tips?
Just for our overall way of eating?
Yeah, overall way of eating just every day, because you see a lot of people that maybe try to eat a bunch of little small meals or 3 really large meals, or only eat breakfast and then dinner. Would you give any?
That's probably the key. That's probably the key ones that I see, is a lot of people try and save up their calories for the end of the day.
To eat at dinner.
Right, right. So our body's energy demands are higher during the day than at night, right? So our energy demands go like this through the day, right? Whereas most of our calorie intake kind of goes like this, right? We skip breakfast. We are running late.
Rushing around.
Right? We skip breakfast. We maybe grab a snack, maybe something small for lunch, and then we pig out at dinner time, right? When our energy demands are actually the lowest. So I'm constantly telling people, shift your calories. You should be getting the majority of your calories earlier in the day when your body is actually using them, and less of our calories at night. And again, it's a whole social thing. I mean, our society is designed to have the biggest meal. Other countries, their biggest meal is at lunch, and then they take a nice nap, which is no surprise. You're tired after a big meal, right? But then they have the second half of their day, and then dinner is something really light around 9 or 10 o'clock at night.
If you even have time to eat, because by then people are so tired that
a
lot of people just skip dinner all completely.
Right, exactly. So I really think people need to really think about shifting their calories more than anything. And probably the most important thing is
get a good breakfast.
right. But the other part is eat healthy. Eat whole natural foods. We talk about dyes and additives and GMOs and all this stuff, and all of that goes out the window if you just choose whole natural foods. You don't have to worry about it, right? It's inherently going to be good for you, and you don't have to worry if it has this or it doesn't have that. Things that don't come with a label, right? Our fruits and our vegetables and our grains have a label, but the grain should just say whatever the grain is, and that's about it, right? Find a simple bread, our fish, eggs, those things that don't really have a label, that should be,
and eat healthy consistently.
Those should be those should be our priorities.
Well, thank you so much. And we'll be right back after this short break with more.
How far does $1 go today? Not far, huh? Think again. Los Angeles Regional Food Bank creates 4 healthy meals with $1. We mobilize resources to feed people in need. 1.7 million people face hunger in Los Angeles County. Help us reach our vision that no one goes hungry in Los Angeles County.
Welcome back. Still with us is Deborah Novak. And Deborah, the students at SMC have put together a fun little game for us to play called This vs. That. So I'd like to ask you a few questions, and all we're going to be doing is comparing products, and I just want to see your personal and professional advice on which product is better, this or that. Okay. So the first product that I'm going to go over is wheat bread versus white bread. I personally buy wheat bread when I go to the store, if I, in fact, buy bread. But are there any beneficial?
Well, that's the right choice. Okay. So wheat definitely has the fiber, it has all the vitamins and minerals that it naturally comes with. It's made from the whole grain. Whereas when we make a white bread, what we do is we take that grain and we refine it, which means we remove some of the fiber and we remove some of the components of the grain that also lose some of the vitamins and minerals. So it's not as nutrient dense. Enrichment means that we've thrown back in some of that, but definitely not everything that's lost. So when you go with your whole wheat bread and you want the label, you want the ingredient on the whole wheat bread to say whole wheat flour, that's your best choice.
Okay, well, I didn't know that. That's good to know, and I'm happy I'm buying the right bread. All right, and the next this versus that is butter versus margarine. I don't really buy butter, but for those people that do, what would you suggest?
Okay, well, I would say first, for either one, always using it in moderation, right? Because they're both 100% fat. Butter is primarily a natural product, whereas margarine is something that has been produced, and the process that they use creates something called some trans fats. And we have found that trans fats are not the healthiest for us. So butter has saturated fat, which also has some controversy as to how healthy it is for us, but we know for sure that trans fats are. Trans fats are not. So go for the butter, right? But for some people, margarine actually might be a better choice. So if you have someone who's vegan, right, they're not going to use butter. So it's nice that they have margarine as an alternative. If you have someone who has a dairy allergy, butter's not really an option for them. Right. So margarine is a choice. So in most cases, I would say butter, because it doesn't have the trans fat, but don't be afraid if you have to use margarine. Again, just use it in moderation. Okay, and just randomly off the top of your head, do you know any good, brands of butter that would be the best or the healthiest, or is there anything that you use personally, I guess? For butters, all of them are about the same.
All of them are about the same? Yeah. Okay, there's not one that's better than the other. Okay, gotcha. All right, and the next one, fresh produce versus canned and frozen produce.
Well, they're about equal. I think it depends on the circumstances. So fresh is always going to be great, but as things sit out or sit in the refrigerator, they can lose some nutrient just by being exposed to oxygen and being exposed to light. The nice thing about frozen fruits and vegetables is that we actually lock in the nutrients. So like with vegetables, we blanch them, right? We cook them really quickly and then we freeze them, and that actually locks in the nutrients. So frozen's is always
actually not that
just as good as fresh. And usually what I tell people is buy some fresh and buy some frozen. Go through your fresh first, and then if you don't have time to get to the market or to the farmer's market to get some more fresh, you have your frozen. Canned, I would say, is the last option. It's definitely less cheaper. Go for the low sodium option, or for fruits that are canned, go for ones that are packed in juice as opposed to syrup.
Okay, I always wonder that because I'm so busy, school, work, and everything else, that I wondered if buying frozen vegetables was any different than buying, just fresh vegetables, because they go bad so fast, and then you feel bad if you don't eat them and have to throw them away.
Exactly.
Okay, and the last one, egg whites versus the whole egg. I've heard a lot about this. I know people are like egg white crazy right now.
Right. So eggs have always gotten a bad rap because of the yolk, which has all the fat and cholesterol in it, but the yolk also has some other very important nutrients. It has almost 50% of the protein that's in the egg to start with. So if you get rid of the yolk, you lose that. It has a substance called choline, which is a required nutrient. It has iron, it has folate, it has some phytochemicals in there, some carotenoids that are very good for us. So I would say go for a mix. If you're just gonna have a couple eggs, have the whole thing. If you're making a frittata with 12 eggs, then use some egg whites and use some egg yolks.
Do a little bit of a mix.
Do a mix, right. We should not keep throwing out that yolk. It's expensive, but it does have nutritional value. So I don't think we need to sort of
focus on one more than another.
Yes, definitely.
Awesome.
A whole egg's good for you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for joining us, Deborah. We
Thank you.
appreciate all of your wonderful knowledge that you've given us. When we come back, we'll be joined by an instructor from Santa Monica College who will share some insight on physical fitness.
It's a wireless world out there. So be sure to stay connected with Santa Monica. Follow us on Twitter for the latest announcements. Receive instant updates on activities citywide. Like us on Facebook and join in on the conversation. Stay connected with your city. And don't miss a tweet.
Riding a bicycle can seem like child's play.
But only if you're playing indoors.
Riding in the real street has real consequences.
Play it safe. Ride by the rules. Cars and bikes need to play together.
Welcome back to the show. Joining us in the studio is Danny O'Fallon, a physical education instructor and the coach of the SMC basketball team. So thank you so much for joining us today, Danny. So it seems that there is a lot of new fitness studios opening up on every corner these days. There's CrossFit and hot yoga that's really just taken off. So what are your latest thoughts on the trends? Is it more of just a fad, or are these actually good things that we should be doing?
Well, one thing regarding CrossFit and hot yoga is that in all the fads that are coming out lately is that a good thing and the positive thing is that they're promoting movement for individuals. Lately, the United States is coming down with an epidemic of obesity, and most importantly, childhood obesity. And with these fads, even though some might be wrong for individuals, as long as they're promoting movement, it's always going to be a good thing.
So it's okay for people to sign up for CrossFit and yoga and all that stuff?
Yes, but I would believe...
Just what it fits to that person specifically, what's best for them, you're saying?
I would say they have to do their research first.
Okay.
CrossFit is probably between the two. You're mentioning hot yoga all the time, but CrossFit is probably the one that's really mainstream right now. But not all CrossFit is meant for everybody.
I heard it's pretty intense.
It is very intense. It is very intense. And I think an individual that wants to try CrossFit for the first time needs to do their research on what gym they want to go to and try it, how much experience does the instructor have with individual with CrossFit, and how much experience do they have with beginners when it comes to CrossFit.
So for some of us that are trying to engage in that healthy lifestyle and get a little bit more active, are there any tips or suggestions that you think we should do?
Absolutely. One of the first things you need to do is go ahead and set your goal, your main goal, and then draw small goals to get there. The hardest part about any goal is the end result. It's just like a New Year's resolution, for example. Probably the most important or most common one is I want to lose weight by so much, and then by the end of the week, your resolution is gone.
Yeah, and you want to be healthy about it.
Of
People that are
course.
trying to lose, 10 pounds in a week.
Of course. So again, the main thing is to have a main goal, but set small goals to get you to that ultimate goal.
Okay. And what about no-cost exercise? Like I'm talking basic exercise, push-ups, pull-ups, jogging. Are there any things that we need to know that are safe ways to do it or wrong ways to do it? Because there's a lot of misinformation, jogging downhill is bad for your knees and stuff like that. What would you recommend for those types of people?
For the no cost or no gym exercises, again, you have to know your own body. You also have to make sure you have a proper warm-up, especially throughout history, and more studies have come out as far as men and women athletes or men and women individuals that are doing a high activity. Women have a tendency to have accessible to shoulder injury faster than men. So make sure you have a proper warm-up with your shoulder when you get ready to do pull-ups. And as far as crunch is concerned, the old-fashioned curl up, it puts a lot of strain on your neck if you're not holding it properly. So a crunch is a little bit better.
So you have to have a good form and research the proper way.
And absolutely, and of course your form is always important no matter what you do. And as far as jogging is concerned, I would really highly recommend when you go out and you're trying to jog on the streets of Santa Monica or in your respective neighborhood like that, actually have a quality pair of tennis shoes, running shoes, be exact, and go to a running store, that the individual salesperson has complete knowledge of the product that they're trying to sell.
And they can advise you on.
Right, because lately the fad with running shoes is that they're cosmetic. And if you don't have the proper shoe for you, the individual, you will have injury.
Right. Yeah, because I do see a lot of people, wear indoor shoes, outdoor shoes, indoor, and stuff like that.
Right.
So, and what are some things that you would say that could help, students here at Santa Monica, maybe some programs or facilities that they might not be aware about that could, help engage them in exercise and stuff?
Santa Monica College, we offer a wide range of activities and for our students. We have activity classes as far as basketball, volleyball, badminton, flag football, as far as like activities using the gym or our football field. We have also a running or track, body level fitness classes. And as far as like you want to do a traditional situation like weight room, we do have a weight room on our campus as well as a fitness center, which we dedicate to more like a circuit training situation.
And are there people in the facilities to help, like if I just walk in, I'm probably not going to know how to use the weight room that well. Are there people to help instruct me, or are these more just classes?
They are classes, but we have our classes are sectioned off where we recommend going through the pattern of the class. So like, for example, our weight training classes, we offer 3 sections, A, B, and C, A being a beginner, C being advanced. So we recommend going through the entire thing unless of course you can show that you have experience in the gym already. We highly recommend that you go through the beginning process and then the intermediate and then the advanced.
Okay. And last question, what do you do for your basketball players to keep them at their peak level? I mean, what are some exercises that they do? I know I probably won't be able to.
The ones they hate. We maintain our body composition by going into the weight room at least twice a week. Well, we go more in the preseason as we get towards the preseason, which we are in now, and going into our conference, we pretty much try to go to the weight room twice a week just to maintain what we have. We do a lot of push-ups. Another thing that's very important too is your own body weight as well. And if you can handle your own body weight, then you can handle more in the weight room. But we do a lot of body weight as far as push-ups and sit-ups. We will hit the weight room, and of course, it's cold during the winter. So with basketball being an indoor sport, we kind of do our cardio inside the gym by doing some wind sprints or timed wind sprints as well.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of sprints, I can say. And how are you guys doing this season?
We're doing well so far. I mean, it's still early in the year. We are 5-1 right now.
Oh wow! Well, congratulations.
Thank you. And we're getting ready to go up north for a very big tournament. So we're excited, and we're just hopefully everything goes right and we stay injury free, and we can bring home a conference title to Santa Monica.
Well, congratulations. Sounds like you guys are doing very well, and thank you so much for your time here today.
No problem. Thank you very much.
Coming up next, we'll be following reporter Ted Folsom as he visits some local parks and takes advantage of outdoor fitness opportunities here in beautiful Santa Monica. Stay tuned.
At the Boys and Girls Club of Santa Monica, we build long-lasting relationships with our kids.
Love. Friendships.
Support. Trust.
Learning.
I know. Fun.
All that and a lot more.
We're not just a club. We're a family.
Great futures start here.
Oh boy, I got some things to do and not a whole lot of time. What's that over there? Santa Monica has a bike share program? So I can sign up on any computer, but they have a mobile app as well. The app displays a map of Santa Monica, and the map indicates available bikes around town. The green pins are bikes locked at the station. The blue pins are bikes locked on the street. Well, that's pretty cool. So for the plan, it's $6 an hour, $20 a month, or $119 a year. Either which way, that's a pretty good deal. And once I'm signed up, I'm good to go. Well, that's easy. Of course, it's important to follow all the rules of the road, but that's always the case. So I enter in my account number here. Voila, unlocked. That slides out like so. Oh, the lock fits in here. Well, that's convenient. Adjust the seat height here. And there's a basket for my bag. Of course, got to put on my helmet. Hey, that's a smooth ride. We've got a bell on the left handle. 3 gears on the right handle for inclines and declines. Hey, look, there's my friend Liz. She rides with Breeze Bike Share too. One cool feature of these bikes is the hold option. I enter hold on the keypad, lock up the bike on the street, and I can run my errands. Check out a book at the library, grab a donut, pick up my framed picture. As long as I have the bike on hold, it'll be waiting for me when I return. And just like that, I'm back on my way. To the beach, of course. After all, this is Santa Monica. Grab some lemonade, soak up some rays. That's worth 2 points. And when I'm ready to call it a day, lock up the bike to a bike rack or bring it back to a Breeze bike station. For more information, check out breezebikeshare.com and sign up today.
Discover 30 years of opera in Santa Monica. Discover the Verdi Chorus.
Even with a busy school and work schedule, fitness is well within your reach. I'm here at Clover Park today, just a stone's throw away from the Santa Monica College campus. The park has a children's playground, a jogging and biking trail, a basketball court, a volleyball court, and some multi-purpose fields. But one significant resource that we often overlook are the resistance training apparatuses that are placed throughout the park. Each of the workout stations contain one or more apparatuses that let you conduct one simple resistance exercise, and each one of those exercises is outlined on a placard, where I use my forearms, biceps, shoulders, and back to execute a slow, deliberate movement until muscle failure. My second exercise, dips, another compound movement that uses my triceps, shoulders, and chest. This third exercise, an alternate to the dips, also uses the triceps, shoulders, and chest, but offers a bit less resistance for those who are just starting. After our push and pull exercises, naturally, it's time to blast the core. Let's start with some hyperextensions that work the lower back. While we're at it, let's throw in some leg lifts to work the abdominals and hip flexors. Now let's cap off the core work with some old school sit-ups. So you don't need to spend hundreds of dollars at a Pilates studio or a CrossFit box or for hot yoga.
Wow, that was beautiful. Thanks, Ted. That's our show for today. Special thanks again to Danny O'Fallon and Deborah Novak. I'm Alex Bell with SMC TV. Until next time.